Okay, so simplest form is related to finding an equivalent fraction. Here I have 4/6. I can say that 4/6 is equivalent to 2/3. Okay? When I'm talking about simplest form, I'm talking about a form where the numerator and denominator don't have any other common factors. So here, if I start with 4/6, 4 and 6 have a factor in common. It's the number 2. Okay, I can divide 4 and 6 both by 2. And since 2 halves is equivalent to 1, then that means that if I divide by 2 halves, I'm not changing the meaning of the fraction at all. Okay, I can't divide 2 and 3 by any other number besides 1. So that means that 2/3 is in simplest form. So let's do another one. I've got 4/16 here. If I want to write it in simplest form, the first question I ask myself is what common factors do these two numbers have? Okay. Okay, so I can divide 4 by 2. I can also divide it by 4 because the factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. And then the factors of 16 are 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. So I want to divide my numerator and my denominator by the same number because that will give me an equivalent fraction. All right, so if I divide by 4/4, because 4/4 is the greatest number that they both have in common, then I will get 1/4 as my simplest form answer. Let's say I did not know that 4 was the greatest factor that they had in common. Let's just say I thought that it might be 2. Okay? So I say, okay, I can divide 4 and 16 both by 2. I end up with 2/8. Okay? So now I could say to myself, well, I can still keep dividing. This is not in simplest form because they have a factor in common other than 1, and that factor is 2. I can divide both by 2 and get 1/4 as my final answer. Okay? So if you don't pick the greatest factor at first, then you may have to divide again. Okay? A lot of times we also call this reducing to lowest terms. Okay, so we practiced this last year when we were finding equivalent fractions. Sometimes we multiplied by 1 whole to get an equivalent fraction. When we're finding the simplest form, we always divide. Okay, so you're either going to divide or it is already in simplest form.